gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Cause baby, I feel real good and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good.
Oh, stop it. Thank you. Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Oh, that's so kind. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Thanks for coming to the Emerson Comedy Special, everyone. Give yourselves a hand. You know, this is the first and only time Emerson has ever done this. We're never going to do it again, so this is really important. Thanks all for being here. Now, we have 5 brilliant comedians tonight, all of them students, all of them funny, 3 of them my personal friends, and 1 of them is an enemy. My name is Max. I'll be your MC for tonight. You can think of me kind of like the Sandman, and all of you are my beautiful little children tucked away in bed. And you may not feel like you're sleeping tonight, but I assure you, when you wake up, you'll be the most well-rested you've ever felt ever. You could run a whole 5-mile marathon after this. I know what you're thinking. You're probably going, what is comedy? What is this? So, not a lot of people know this, but I do. Comedy comes from the Greek komedios, which it literally translates to a barbed missile that resembles a harpoon that can be thrown, attached to a rope by hand or by a gun to kill large whales or other sea creatures. But I don't really subscribe to that definition of comedy. I kind of feel like it's more like it's more like a feeling, more like a vibe, you know, like it's like rhythm and setups and jokes, you know. Comedy has a lot of power. There's a lot of power in comedy. It has the power to make you laugh. Comedy has the power to make you cry. Comedy has the power to age you rapidly through time, suspending all reality, space, and a third element called zaz. Comedy is, fun fact, the only American art form. Comedy, it's kind of like if Twitter was just words. Comedy's kind of like, what's his name? Pinocchio, but if it was an adult man. That's what comedy means to me. You know, some people say that I am comedy personified. And you're going to be seeing a lot of me tonight. Cole, what time is it? Oh, it's almost Christmas time. God, I love this holiday season. I have so many fond memories of Christmas. Christmas, to me, it's the scent of a warm holiday cookie. It's a big goose coming out of your oven. It's a bright light in your face while you're driving. That's Christmas to me. I have such fond memories of me and my dad sitting around a fire, drinking non-alcoholic beers, and watching him play violent video games, and I'd be hand-rolling raviolis, overcooking them. God, messed up. And at the center of it all is a big, beautiful Christmas tree. And I really feel like the Christmas tree is emblematic of what this season is all about. It stands there in its big stature, presenting to the world the gifts that are beneath it. Oh, those gifts. Presents for me and my family, all filled with stuff. Stuff I can take to my room. Big toy cars. A big poster maybe. Thank you, Santa. Oh, Christmas tree, I love the way you sparkle. Oh, Christmas tree, I love the way you sparkle. Green when it shines and when it snows, from emerald pine to Douglas fir. Oh, Christmas tree, I love the way you sparkle. Oh, Christmas tree, so tall and ornamental. Oh, Christmas tree, so tall and ornamental. What once was thriving in the ground is now decaying in my house. Oh, Christmas tree, so tall and ornamental. Christmas tree really shows you a lot about what Christmas is all about. You look at the leaves, and every day a little bit more pine needles fall off, and that makes you think. Christmas is not forever. Christmas is for now. You're going to lose a couple leaves, and by the end of it, it's going to be dead. Christmas will end soon, as we all will too. Don't forget that. Don't relish in the Home Alone movies and the sequels. Christmas tree, a symbol of life fleeting. Oh Christmas tree, the proof of mortal beings. When springtime comes, you'll be in the trash, just like we all will turn into ash. Oh Christmas tree, what kind of God allows this? Christmas. Cole Alberti.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming out. My name is Coltrane C. Snacks. And if you haven't heard of me or you haven't seen me around lately, that's because I recently got a therapy license. And no one can see or speak to me unless I want to get paid. That joke is for me, of course, because I cannot find one of those guys. But I'm not actually a therapist. I'm actually a art school student, and that hasn't been going well. And I've pinpointed why, and I'd like to talk about it today. I have anxiety, and not like general anxiety or specific anxiety, but a very different kind of anxiety that comes from a deep egomaniacal place. I crave approval, and I have to be right about things, and it's led to a lot of problems, especially living in a big city. And so one of my problems is the T. And I'm sure you felt this when you get on the T and your body tenses up and you start shaking, and you just feel like everybody's looking at you, and you don't know why. And so... I'm glad you agree. And so that's been happening to me a lot since freshman year, and it recently dawned on me that the problem is I believe, as I'm sure you have before, everyone on the T wants me to give a speech. And that's a lot of pressure, I've got a lot going on in life. I haven't had lunch yet, and I'm sitting on the T, not prepared to bring these people together. They're strangers, and they're lost, and I am not their moral anchor. So to resolve this issue, I did what anyone would do, and I stopped riding the T entirely. And that was good, because I started getting exercise since I had to bike everywhere. But the problem with biking everywhere is you can get hit by a car, which I got hit by a car. And so don't worry if you're thinking, oh, maybe that fixed it. Maybe you're less anxious. It didn't. It was cold and dark and raining, and I was struck by a large vehicle. And they got out and went, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I said, actually, I just need to find my headphone. Real quick. And they were like, that's totally my bad. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. Is it okay if I go? And so they let me leave, and I later found out they were supposed to pay me. And I'm really mad about that because they didn't bring that up at all. But so I went home without a paycheck and a broken butt. I had a broken butt and a concussion, so I couldn't bike anymore. And so if it was death or giving a speech, I decided it was time for me to write a speech. And so that night I rode the T home, and this is what I told the people of the train. I look around and I see a lot of new faces. That means a lot of you have been breaking the first rule of the T. See, people, I see come through this train some of the strongest and smartest individuals who have ever lived. I see potential. And I see it squandered. Darn it, we're an entire generation pumping gas and waiting tables, dogs and white collars. Media has raised us all to chase cars and clothes. working jobs we hate to buy things we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. We have no place or purpose, no great wars, no Great Depression. Our great war is a spiritual war, and our Great Depression is our lives. TV has raised us to believe that we would all one day be millionaires and movie stars and rock gods, but we won't. And we're slowly learning that fact, and we are very, very ticked off. And so I gave that speech on the T, and someone went, "That's Fight Club." And I said, "No, it's not. No, it's not. They curse in Fight Club, and I look nothing like Brad Pitt. This is a different thing." But I got back to campus, and I still had all my problems. And usually I get along with teachers because they give me the validation and approval I so desperately seek, and I don't have to go to parties with them. So it ends up being a really mutually beneficial relationship. However, I have one professor that I cannot square things off with, and I'd like to tell you about the boiling point that we reached this week. But first, I have to give you some context. Now, I'll be honest, this is an adult who I'm about to dog pretty hard. So, for their security, I've decided to give them a pseudonym so no one in this room will figure out which teacher at the school you attend I'm speaking about. We're going to call them Professor Dunce. And Professor Dunce has gotten this name because they are stupid and ugly, and I do not like them. So I'm going to tell you about what happened this week, but you need some context. This is a class about writing jokes on topical recent events. And I went into class maybe, say, the second week, and I brought in this joke. Inflation is up 8.7%, which has me really worried about my balloons. Thank you. It's a good joke. I would go as far as to say it's a perfect joke. You can use it at any time of the year, whether inflation is up or down. It's air ready. And so I brought that joke to class, and the professor said, "That's dumb." Okay, bud. And that, my fragile ego was already being shattered, but I was like, okay with it. Later, I lost points on the assignment because that joke was dumb. And that really irritated me. So I went from having a professor to having a nemesis. And so I got really used to like arguing with this person, and I went into class this Thursday, and they walked in and they said, "There's a protest outside." I said, "Oh, no kidding. What's it about?" And they said, "Don't know." And I thought, that's strange. If we're a topical comedy class and this is a literal current event, maybe we should go see what it is. And so I said that. "You think maybe the whole class could go outside and then we could write some jokes about it?" And he says to me, "You're asking for extra work." No, that's not what I'm doing at all. I'm asking for alternative work. And on top of that, I'm asking for the whole class, not me. But he's not really paying attention to the words I say like normal. And so he says, "I'm going to call your bluff." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm being completely sincere. So if you want to call my bluff, I'm happy to bring the whole class outside and we'll write these jokes, bud." And then he said again, "I'm going to call your bluff." And I went, "Okay." And I understand now that what I'm about to do is very antagonistic. And I understand that I'm arguing with an adult. And it doesn't matter if you're a child or a college student or another adult. You should never argue with an adult. But here I go. And so I say to him, I say, "You sound like the one who's bluffing." I'm egging him on. And so he says, "Okay, what time is it?" And a friend of mine in the class goes, "It's 2:10. And so he goes, "I'll give you till 2:45. You go outside, see what they're doing, and you write a 4-page sketch." That's not what I said we were going to do. That's a lot more work. And so I said, "A 4-page sketch?" He said, "I knew you were bluffing." He makes me feel so small, guys. He makes me feel so small, and he's this giant, and he's picking me up, and he's shaking me. And I'm just going, "Ah! Put me down! Put me down!" But he never puts me down. He just keeps shaking me. He loves the power. And so I said, "All right, I'll do it." And he went to say something else about how it's going to be graded or whatever, but I was mad, and I was feeling bold. And I said, stop, I don't care, it doesn't matter. You give me a 0, I still pass this stupid class. I need to leave. I have an assignment to do. And I left class. And so I went outside, and I tried to approach this protest. And I go up to the protest, and the police are like, no. I was like, okay, I get where you're coming from, but there's a 45-year-old bitter man who told me I need to figure out what's going on in there, so it's really important to me. And they went, I don't know what that's got to do with me. Okay, so now I'm across the street from the protest going, hey, come over here. I want to talk to you. And to no one's surprise, a middle-aged white woman came to tell me her problems. And so she runs across the street, and she starts telling me, I'm like, what's the deal with all this, you know? What's the hubbub? And she says, we're an anti-vax protest group. And I said, awesome. And she starts telling me about, you know, how the mandates are inhuman. And I'm like, so true. And I appreciate that you came out here today to fight for this. And I was like, but why here? Why now? Why the 8 of you? And she goes, she goes, well, this is the Department of Children and Families, and our leader is a rabbi, and he's on the run out of state because they're trying to take his children. And I said, thank you so much. That's everything I needed and more. I'm going to go now. And so I went back inside, and I got myself a sandwich with my newfound extra time, and I started writing this sketch. And I got back to class just in time. And I go into the classroom, and with his big, arrogant, stupid face, Professor Dunce says to me, did you do it? Yeah, I did it. And so we put it on the board and we go through it, and it's not great. It's fine. I did it, and it's okay. And we get through it, and I can see he's mad. He's really mad because I did a good job. Here's the thing, guys. I got into a fight with an adult, right? And he picked the game. He picked the rules. He set the time, and he still lost. And he was so sad. This bitter old man was dejected. And he went, okay, good job. Are you kidding me? That's all he's got for me? So I was now bitter, and I packed my bag, and I left class. I just left. I was done, and I was embarrassed and sullen. And later that night, he has the audacity. I wasn't there, but I heard in class he was asking, where do you think Cole went? You think he's mad at me? And no one was really giving him what he was looking for. So later that night at about 10 o'clock at night, he sends me an email. Email reads thus. From Professor Dunce to me. Subject line, missed you at the end of class. And the email says, you okay? Like we've been dating for a while and this is our rough patch. Where he's like, is this on me? Are you mad? And I was kind of taken aback, so I started drafting emails. First draft. Haven't been for a while. I'm sure you know the feel. No, little too edge. So then I was like, well, be more honest, make it about me. I have severe hallucinations. I have to step out from time to time. Anyway, see you around, Space Cowboy. I don't think that's going to do it either. Now I'm losing it because I'm just drafting these out of spite. And I write, don't think less of me, you neurotypical punk. I go loony on occasion, and it's best I remove myself when the lid is loose. Love you loads. See you later. So I needed to cool off. I decided for the next one, yo necesito mucho ayuda. Say it in Spanish. I need a lot of help. But I don't know if he'll get that. Get to my next draft. Just a case of the Thursdays. I've been getting them once a week. In a while, crocodile. And then it hits me. The actual response, the final email, I send to Professor Dunce at 10 p.m. the next day, drunk at a party. I've been having a really hard time these last few weeks. I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused for you. I don't know if you heard, but inflation is up 8.7%, and I'm really worried about my balloons. Thank you.
Keep it going for Cole! Everyone I know calls Cole Cool Cole. Maybe we can try that out. On to one Cole, on to another. Give it up for McKenna Tedford-Coles.
Whoop. Hello. I had kind of a weird summer. I changed a lot. It was just kind of one of those moments where I thought to myself, well, I'm almost 20 and I haven't changed yet, so what is this whole damn thing been about? And so I basically just changed everything about myself this summer. I don't look the same. I act different. I talk different. I don't hold myself the same in all the rooms I walk into. I sort of just, there's nothing about me that's the same. I'm mentally and physically different. I mean, do I look like someone who's changed to you? And I know that this is like the first time that a lot of you are seeing me and like you have nothing to compare that to, but do I look like someone who has like the capacity to undergo some change? It's okay. I know it's a hard question. I actually don't need you to answer. I don't need you to tell me that I've changed, okay? I know I've changed. That's how much I've changed. I don't need your validation, okay? All right, I've changed. You know, like this summer, I thought that like my whole body was hollow and like it was black in there and there was like, it was just like darkness. And now I know that there's like definitely a liver in there or something. So like, I feel like I've changed. I was depressed this summer quite a bit, but you know, that's okay. You know, like it happens, it's fine. And it kind of threw me through a loop, and I quickly realized that I didn't like telling people that I was depressed this summer, and they also really didn't like hearing about it. Because like sometimes I would practice this set with my friends and I would finish and they would go, oh my God, like, why didn't you tell me about that? And I went, because of this. Because your one note for me after this set is, why didn't you tell me about that? Come on. I don't need to hear that. You know, I also learned that a lot of people will ask you how your summer went. So it was kind of hard that I was depressed this summer because I didn't want to tell people. And I'm also a horrible liar. So I kind of found a way around that. I learned that if you just tell someone something very exciting, they will just agree with you that it was exciting. And then I just have to agree with that. So people would come up to me and go, oh, how was your summer? And I would go, I went to London. And they would go, wow, that sounds awesome. That must have been great. And I would just have to agree with them. And then that was it, because I agreed with them, so I told them they were right. So now they're feeling good about themselves, and now they can talk about themselves again, and everything's good. I'm not really giving my friends enough credit. I actually did have a pretty strong support system this summer. If this summer was a friendship test, my friends would have passed with flying colors. They were really, really there for me. That test being me saying over and over again, but Daddy, I love him, and them all choosing to still be friends with me. And that's not an easy test. There was a lot of advice asking. I was just like very confused all the time, and I would just constantly ask for advice. I don't know how to get through this. I don't know how to feel better. And they would think about it, like really take in what I was saying, and then give me their advice, and I would always blatantly ignore it. I don't even know if I was listening. I honestly don't know. I think I would say, oh, I'm sad, and then they'd start giving me the advice, and I just would think, waiting to talk again, waiting to tell them how sad I am again. And then when they were done, I'd say again how sad I am. My mother helped me a lot this summer, which is crazy because she's sitting right there, and that's crazy. That's crazy. It's making me feel absolutely crazy right now. She helped me a lot. Like, she had to deal with a lot. And it was crazy because me and my mother have always been so close. And we just got closer this summer. I just ended up sharing so much of myself with her, and she ended up sharing so many of her pills with me. Oh, I love Ativan. I love Ativan so much. It's like this magic little pill, and I've been on this quest for like 19 years, and my mother's a wizard, and she just comes up to me and goes, put this in your mouth, and I take it, and boom, my quest is done. The whole thing's done, and I'm feeling so much better. And I am thinking, okay, so like this is the wizard who sent me on the quest in the first place, so you would think that maybe she gave it to me earlier, but that's okay, because I have it now, and that's fine. I wish I knew how Ativan worked, because it's like, I imagine that when I take Ativan, it's like when people smoke weed. because I can't smoke weed. I cannot. When I smoke weed, I am like a gun with one bullet at a party. I am a pretty fun game for a while, and then I am what is going to end the party. I'm not trying to say that, like, I spent all summer licking my mother's medicine cabinet, okay? This is not a confession. I'm just saying that things kept getting worse, and my mother just kept having more pills. If I was stressed, it was Ativan. If I couldn't sleep, it was Benadryl. If I was feeling like the walls were caving in, it was usually just like a scoop of random purse pills and a bottle of Coke Zero. And if it was a headache, it was Advil. I do kind of want to talk about the Benadryl a little bit because sleeping was the hardest thing for me this summer. I just, like, the moment it got dark out, I couldn't stop overthinking. And I was, like, really grateful for this pill, and it would just knock me out every night. Done. And I would wake up every morning and go, Jesus, Mom, what did you give me last night? And she'd say, oh, you know, it's just a little something stronger than Benadryl. Which is horrifying. I don't know what it is. I don't know what she gave me. I don't know. I still don't know to this day. And it worked so well. I just kept taking it, and it was fine. But there was like a moment, you know, it worked for a really long time, and then I kind of built up a tolerance to it, which I wasn't even really mad about, because then I got to play like a fun little game with myself, okay? Because there was like a time where the pill would work, and I would be aware that it was working. So I would take the pill, and I'd go on my phone, beep boop bop for a couple minutes, look at my ex-boyfriend's Instagram for what I thought was the last time, and then the phone would just fall out of my hand. It never was put down. I would lose all motion of my body. My face would get really heavy, and like my eyes would just like start drooping, and my head would start like lolling around, which is crazy because I was lying down, but it would just start like lolling like all over the place. And I would look around my room and watch all the shadows like kind of like morph and get darker and longer, and I'd think, stay awake, stay awake, stay awake, stay awake, and then I'd pass out. I'd get through like 4 or 5 of those, and then I would pass out, and it was fun. I felt alive. It was good. You know, me and my mom, we're so close that summer. You know, she got me like a little matching pill organizer, you know, like the ones that have the days on the week on it, because all of the days blend together when you need a pill organizer. And, you know, it was kind of cute because hers was blue, mine was pink. Hers were prescribed, mine were also prescribed to her. And hers was on the kitchen counter, and mine was in my closet where my dad would never find it. That was just for me. I did go to the doctors eventually, and I got prescribed my own stuff. And I honestly started feeling a lot better. I've changed. And I went back to school feeling a lot better, feeling much more like myself. But my mom wasn't so sure. She wanted to make sure that I was going to be okay. So she sent me back to school with like a little something extra in case things got sour again. But honestly, I was doing better. So I had a couple of problems. I had all these pills. I didn't want to take them. I had nowhere to put them. And I'm an entrepreneur. So I started selling these pills on campus, and I know what you're thinking, but this is really good for my mental health, guys, okay? Because I have a reputation now, okay? I'm popular. I walk down the street, and people say hello to me. People call out my name on the street. And it's not my name. It's my dealer name, T-Swift19. It's T-Swift19 because my pills make you realize you need to calm down. And, you know, I don't really feel like that's much different. I actually think it's better that people call me that name, because that name means something to the people, okay? McKenna, like, I just came out, and they were like, McKenna. That doesn't mean anything. They just picked a random name and gave it to me. They didn't even know me then, okay? So, you know, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, and sometimes business doesn't work like you want it to, okay? Like, sometimes there's a supply, and then there's also a demand. And then you run out of the supply, and then the demand just gets bigger. So I've kind of run out of pills, and I have a cult following now. So I'm not really sure what to do about it. I'll kind of just be going through my day in the dining hall, trying to get my veggies in, and my friends will come up to me and go, "Oh my God, T-Swift19, T-Swift19, you got it. Like, you got to give me something. Like, you got like anything." And I'm like, "Oh man, like, I get that. I totally understand, but you have to believe me, I am out. Like, if you want to go to the movies with me after this, and we can do that, but, like, I am out. I cannot help you right now. And they usually reject that offer and then try something else. And they'll say, okay, if you're not going to sell to me, I get it. Who's your supplier? If you're not going to sell to me, I'm just going to go straight to the source. And I don't know how to tell them it's my mom. And if she sells you anything, she is going to expect you to stay for dinner. Thank you.
Keep it going for McKenna! You know, before the show, McKenna gave me a Tic Tac, and now I can't feel my fingers, so I don't know what that's about. Our next comedian actually checked my heart earlier, and it turns out everything's going well. Straight from the OR, it's Emily Hammond.
I'm a nurse. I came from the OR today, and it's going really bad in there. It's terrible. I'm a really bad nurse. I suck at what I do. It is not going well. That's probably because I got my degree online at Grand Canyon University. At that school, you're not allowed to have members of the opposite sex in your dorm room. But I got it online, so I just wasn't allowed to be in a Zoom breakout room with a boy. That's fine, and I think it's a fair rule, because if I were to be in a Zoom breakout room with a boy, I'd probably be very sexually charged in a way that enticed and invited sex, resulting in pregnancy. It's going really bad in there. It's going really bad in there. I, first of all, didn't wash my hands before going in, perform surgery. Don't know what a scalpel is. I packed lasagna for lunch. Looks like guts. All this is to say that I have 8 to 10 minutes on my break to do stand-up comedy. Probably a little wiggle room in there because this guy's going belly up. I'm calm now. I think it'd be really cool if I just made you all clap for me for 7 minutes, like in March 2020. Thanks for doing that, by the way. It made me nurse better. I came up with something. I wish that there was a federal law that required the creation of national standards to protect sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without the patient's consent or knowledge. That would be both good for protecting a patient's privacy and maintaining ethical medical practices. But what that would also mean is I couldn't do stand-up as a nurse and tell you about what my patients' bodies look like. All right, here's the classic stand-up. Personally, I think it'd be funny if we had female addresses. It'd be like emails, but the icon's a vagina, and it every time like a real one. My parents are here too. I think if the icon was a vagina, I wouldn't have to repeat myself 4 to 5 times every time I talk to a man. I think they'd respond to my inquiries and emails pretty much right off the bat. I am the most female comedian of all time. My boyfriend thinks I'm blonde, also he hates me. I like performative activism because I was born to be on stage. Just kidding, I like the Save the Boobies shirts. I will wear pink to a football game, but I'm just not going to donate. I'd much rather save my money for something that'll serve me in the future, like a tampon, so I don't bleed out. My dad once said, children would make the best soldiers because they follow direction blindly. And I agree with that because to do what your boss says is to be a good worker. Being a nurse kind of sucks because the environment's really toxic and stressful. But that's kind of because of me, because I do not separate what happens at home from what happens at work. 1,000% of the time, I'm bringing what happens at home in there with me. That's just what I do. I had acrylic nails on before going into the operating room. I do not have them on now. That means they most likely fell off. My patient's name was Thomas Lincoln. He had congenital heart failure. One second. If I wasn't a nurse, I would write for the Evie Awards. Due to the coronavirus, my freshman year, I was sent home early. That's when my whole world changed. I started doing the Chloe Ting challenge. And boy, challenge is right. That girl's tough, mentally and physically. For the rest of my set, I'm gonna do a plank. That's my time.
Keep it going for Emily Hammond. Fun fact about Emily is that she killed my dad during a routine checkup. Our next comedian is 6 feet tall and 11 inches. Give it up for Shawn Zap.
Has anybody here ever died before? I did. So I got pneumonia once, and like I don't know if you guys know what pneumonia is. It's like COVID, but for your lungs. And man, it sucked. I was 7. You know you're really sick when you start getting letters from your 7-year-old classmates that are just like, "Hi, Show. Hope you don't die. Here is drawing of giraffe." Have any of you been in a hospital? It's boring. So, like, of course I'm going to write them back and be like, "Hello, Noah. That giraffe was shit. Also, I'm taking 1 IV out of my arm for every grammatical mistake you've made. This is on you." I wasn't fazed. I spent 3 months at Dartmouth Hospital. They were like, "You're going to die." I was like, nah. I started getting scared when John Cena showed up. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not a good thing. John Cena is the pediatric Grim Reaper. Every kid knows it. Oh, I'm like shaking just thinking about it. He took a picture with me. He hugged me. He chokeslammed me. And then he said I was a tough cookie. And that, don't be worried, kid. You're built different. 2 days later, I died. Yeah, my lungs gave out, like no joke. And I was like, I remember levitating above my body. I saw my dad crying. My mom was all like, "Oh no, not my only son." And I was like, "Chill the out, Mom. John Cena said I'm built different." And here I am. I'm fine. I don't think John Cena was right, though. I think I died and went to hell. I think we're all in hell, and I think they've been lying to you. This is hell. They've just renamed it Emerson College. Attending this school is not my biggest regret, though. A few Halloweens ago, I tried to take a double shot while doing a handstand. I got vodka in my eyes. I cried all night. And that's not even the worst thing I've done to my lookers. No. Let me tell you, do not, I repeat, do not buy lube for $1.99.
You will put it in your drawer next to your eye drops. And they look the same. Don't get eye drops. It's not fun. I used to be 300 pounds. I lost 150 pounds in the last 2 years. And no, don't clap. It's fine. I think it's dedication. I go to the gym every day. My doctor calls it a crippling eating disorder, but you know, it's fun. I have some perks, you know. I had to go to court because a cop gave me a parking ticket and I ate it right in front of him. I ate the whole thing and he said, "You're still going to have to pay that." And I said, "It's going to be out in 3 to 5 business days." And then he took me to court for messing with like judiciary, something with a badge. The judge laughed. She let me off. She thought I was cute and funny. I'm usually not liked by the law. This shirt, you're probably like, "Look at this guy. Look at this D3 athlete." No, I stole it. Of course. But I've never paid for the tea. Have you? If you do, you're a chump. Or you have daddy's credit card, don't you? No. Wouldn't it be crazy if, like, you know, the tea police had as much power as ECPD? Now, I know that's a scary word. But let me tell you, ECPD, oh, if they had that kind of power, man, just imagine for 1 minute. There's no more RAs, all right? You're back in a little building. It's 2019. Ghosts, spooky, You're throwing a party. You hear 3 loud knocks at the door. ECPD, what are your pronouns? I don't know, bro. It's scary. Man. Thanks, Cole. Let's see. I got my best friend. My best friend's name is Joey. He's a DoorDasher. I DoorDash with him. We have DoorDash-a-thons sometimes. It's fun. You know, Joey's a lot like me. I think I used to be a nice guy, but I hung out with him too much. Joey's like the guy at parties. You can find him like near any frat. He's in the back, right in front of the beer pong table, you know. He's the guy who's like, "Yo, I got next game. Ooh, hey girl, you can call me Jeffrey Dahmer, 'cause I want to eat you out. I want to eat you out." No, the only thing worse than that joke is if that shit goes Broadway. I can already see it now. Dahmer, the musical monster, starring Ben Platt. Joey still plays Fortnite. He's broken 3 PS4 controllers across his skull. He goes to UNH. He's one of their finest. He met his best friend there when she found him peeing on her dorm room door at 3 a.m. He was drunk. He's the UNH Paramount pisser. Yeah, it's messed up. All right, best story I got right here. This kid, we worked at a bar. I was a waiter, he was a food runner. And Joey brings out this salad to this ancient, old, very old man. And everybody knows, who's worked in food at least, old people at restaurants are worse than National Geographic videographers. Yeah, they just sit there getting B-roll. They get B-roll while, like, sea turtles are getting chopped up by seagulls. It's like, come on, guys. Like, go. I get you can't interfere with the circle of life, but go help out. Anyways, Joey brings out this salad to this absolutely old, like friggin' coffin dodger, right? So he brings it out to this old guy, and this old guy's like, "Where's the rest of my food? Aren't you gonna wait for my chicken parmesan?" Joey's not a people person. He goes, "It'll be out in a few minutes. Patience." This 80-year-old gangster did not like his tone. No. He slams the tray out of Joey's hands. The salad's in the air. Joey's face is bright red. I stopped taking my table's order. This is just getting good. I'm about to watch my best friend kangaroo kick Grandpa's dentures out. I'm so excited. But then Joey's face goes blank. He walks into the break room and the bar shakes. I go in after him, making sure my friend's okay. There he is, standing next to a picture of the owner, with his hand halfway through the wall. Naturally, I'm like dancing around him. You're getting fired. You're getting fired. No tips for him. No, all our boss does was make him go in the next day, put up drywall. Our boss, Tracy, was this like yoked 30-year-old. He already got 2 strikes for having sex in the freezer. He was messed up. But, man, Joey, he gets vulnerable with Joey. And he tells him, hey, man, we've all been there. Lifts up the picture of the owner, and there's a hole in the wall that Tracy punched in 2 years prior. Joey doesn't know what to do. He's in awe. He's looking at his future before him, and he says, why? Tracy goes, I'm built different. That's my time. Thank you, guys.
Keep it going for Shawn. Man, I f***ing hate old people, too. You know, I'm so sorry to tell you guys this, but we have one more comedian left, and then we're done. That's it. I know, guys. I'm so sad, too. But it's going to be a good one, so we just got to get through this and, you know, really put your hands together and, like, really be supportive here, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, the wickedly talented Delta Zim, Ava Whiteley.
Hey, you guys. I hate email a lot. I hate it. And mainly because just once I would like Nancy Pelosi to email me good news. It sort of feels like every single day she's just kind of like, hey, Ava. My name's Ava, by the way. Hey, Ava, it's so cold where I am. And it's so humid in here, but it's humid. But it's still cold. And is there a word for that, like humid but cold? Oh, Ava, I just looked it up. It's damp. That doesn't feel like it conveys enough emotion, Ava. Oh, where I am, it's so bad, Ava. And where I am is the future of America. Ava, I need $5. So like I get that email 3 times a day. And it sucks. Like I get it. Like I get it a little bit. Like the world is so bad. Sometimes I've like almost given her $5 before, which is like I think by far the worst part. I always think about if I'll ever be able to have kids someday because of climate change. And I always think about like my future children having to fight off like Jeff Bezos robot kids at the LaGuardia High School auditions. And then I think about Venmoing Nancy Pelosi a purple 5. And it's like that. There's no way that's the best solution. Do you guys remember when purple 5s happened? Cool. That's kind of what I thought was gonna happen. So it's circa like 2011 is whenever I'm in 5th grade. The Treasury decides we're gonna make $5 bills. We're gonna make a big deal about it. And one of the or maybe they didn't. It was just a big deal to me. Like live on stage, I'm realizing it definitely wasn't that big of a deal, and I just remember it. But they made one of the 5s on the $5 bill really big and purple. And my grandma gave me all my birthday money that year in purple 5s. And I was like, this is so awesome. There's a $5 bill for girls. So that was so cool. That was the last time I think the world was good at all. Ever since then, it's just been like going downhill. Every day kind of feels like, you know that scene in a family movie when the young son who has like messed up teeth in a cute way? And he's like, oh, look, I found a yellow belly salamander. And then the like newly widowed dad's new girlfriend goes up to him and he's like, oh my God, that's an endangered species. That makes this a protected habitat. They can't build the mall here anymore. We saved the town. Every single day feels like that, but I'm the construction site manager, and it's my job to build the mall. And it's like this kid is just absolutely messing up everything for me. I was in New York recently. New York is like if Boston was made up. I was in New York recently, and I was walking down the street being so like hip and modern and whatever. And I see an ad on the side of a bus stop. And I'm like, oh, it's New York. This is awesome. It's the Count in Elmo. It's Sesame Street. I was like, that's so cute, little Sesame Street ad. And there's a big number 2. I was like, oh, Elmo's learning how to count to 2. 1, 2. Elmo can do that. Like, that's so cool. And then underneath it said, #2 degrees to mass extinction. What the hell, you guys? So they're like, if the Earth heats up 2 more degrees, everyone's going to die. And then I was like, cool, I'll just go see an off-Broadway play. And like that was my day that day. It was so insane. I'm sorry, I'm being really negative, and like I know that. So I'm gonna try to be a little more positive. I think it's really nice that squirrels actually eat nuts. That sort of felt like something that like the media made up, and then we were all like, yeah, for sure, squirrels eat nuts. Totally, like like semiotics, like shorthand language, like squirrels eat nuts, cool. Sort of like how like monkeys like bananas, or like poodles are girls. It was like cool. Like we all just like decide that's true so we can keep making cartoons. I was like, that's fine. But every day I walk through Boston Commons, I don't know, you know when you write an essay and your professor puts like parentheses, SP parentheses, and it's like so mean? That's what that is. Anyway, I walk through Boston Commons and there's a squirrel and it's eating a nut. And that happens twice a day, every day. I didn't even really want to do this joke. I don't even think it's that good, but it's like, it's just really true. And like, I just kind of had to talk about it at this point. Okay, positive. Okay, can I just say one thing really quick? Have you guys gone to McDonald's lately? Okay, cool. It's $15 to go to McDonald's. That's terrible. I'm at a phase of my life where $15 is $40 and $200 is $800, but anything under $1 is free. That's sort of how everything feels, and it's just like McDonald's should be $40, and it is. Okay, sorry. I'm being really negative, and it seems like if it seems like I hate comedy, it's like, no, you're being weird. It's like I do. I do hate it, but the problem is I also love it because I love comedy more than I love Christmas, but I hate it more than I hate war. So it's like, they're fighting in my brain. So you know what? I mean, really, I'm still being so negative. Get better. So I'm gonna be really positive. I'm gonna do stand up the right way. So curtains, or like if windows had shirts. Deer are like the dogs of the forest. Mac and cheese. This is like you put cheese on a noodle. You guys like that? You guys like that? Everyone's just getting up here like, oh, let's just compare more things. I can't. I was in a class at the beginning of this semester, and then we were all supposed to say a fun fact about ourselves. And a kid was like, oh, I like room temperature water more than ice water. I dropped out of that class. That's real. That's like so real that I'm like a little nervous to say it. Like he really did that. I was like, that's the most interesting thing. Do you think I'm in love with you? I don't care how you like your water. Like look, deep down, we're all just like small children who've been denied hugs too many times. We all want to be loved. We all want to be happy. Yeah. We have such little time on this earth. We have such little time. Elmo's talking about 2 degrees. You know what I mean? Like I don't have time to give a if you like tacos more than burritos. Like, I don't care. I barely know my mom's birthday. I barely know it. I have to pick her prescription up at Target, and they're like, and I go, March 25th? And I say it real quiet and hope that it's right. And it is March 25th. If anyone asks, it is. I know it now. I don't know it a lot. And, okay. All right. Here's the best way I know how to say it. Zoom in. I'm doing stand-up comedy at Emerson College. Like, isn't that...
That's enough. All right, this is the habitat of the endangered leopard frog.
Turn it off. Yes. I can't do stand-up anymore because this is a protected habitat now? Well, can I just say one more thing? give it my best shot, my best stand-up. All right. Okay, then. Well, it's time to get serious, you guys. All right, cue video. All right. So this is what stand-up comedy is. So I went to the store the other day because I had to buy stuff there, and when I walked around, they were like, Carter basket. And I was like, do I look like the kind of woman who carries her own basket? I went to the grocery store the other day, and when I was there, I had a paper list. And as they go through, there's a thunderstorm for the asparagus, right? And it gets my list all wet. I leave the store with just tequila and a mac and cheese, or as I like to say, a good excuse for a good time. I went to the farmer's market the other day, and, well, there weren't any farmers there. What the hell am I supposed to be buying? When I was in high school, we took tests, and I cheated on them. I hate going to the beach. I'm way more of a mountains girl. I like room temperature water more than ice water. Yeah, it's so delicious that way. It's so. I went to the ocean and there was water there. So that is what all stand-up is. I hope you guys liked it. And remember, get out there and vote.
Keep it going for Ava! Thank you all so much. That's our show. Give a big round of applause to all the comedians. Ava, Emily, McKenna, Cole, and Shawn. Thank you to everyone in the tech. Have a great day.
Good job, guys.